Hey guys, this is Malisar here with Shadows in the North YouTube channel. This is my first game playing the new ETC comp, Draft 0. I'm playing High Elves, my opponent is playing Demons of Chaos. So for High Elves, here's the ETC comp. Basically it's a pool comp this year. Special characters are now allowed, which is awesome. You'll see later when I do my list that I decided to go for a special character. I'm really excited to use Lethanar. But you have the mounted Banner of the World Dragon is one choice. Second unmounted Frostheart Phoenix is one choice. Three or more mounted characters is one choice. One or more characters on the Lore of Death. One or more bolt throwers, and 60 or more shots in the army is one choice. Um, Now, I didn't realize originally when I made the comp that the mounted Banner of the World Dragon didn't include the foot Banner of the World Dragon. Kind of feel a little dumb, but that's okay. Because it just means I can get more shots in the army because I capped it at one or more bolt throwers. Obviously, it's my first choice, and then my second was the banner, but I don't think that's going to stay that way. Um, I'm kind of surprised that the high elf comp is so low. There's no comp on 3 aboard, say Phoenix Guard, no comp on the Book of Hoeth. There's no comp on the foot banner. And of course, special characters are going to be comped, so I don't think you'll see a Lariel and tech list, even though there is 50% lords or heroes. I actually wouldn't be too shocked to see that kind of a list. I think it's really tough, and there's a lot of Death Stars in the ETC. But that's what the comp is right now, which gives you a lot of flexibility in the high elf army. So here's my list. I'm starting in this kind of avoidance shooting high elf list. I have a Swedish comp version and this ETC version. Um, yeah, let's just jump in here. The Lord's the first Lord. My general is Lethanar. I think he's awesome. Strength 7 bolt thrower, swift stride, -1 to hit, 4 board save. Um, yeah, there's not enough you can say about him. Be a ballistic skill 7, strength 7 bolt thrower. Oh, that's quick to fire too. Um, just in case he wasn't good enough. The prince I'm carrying is the Reaver Bow, Potion of Strength, Magic Resistance 2, Shadow Armor, additional hand weapon, and White Lion Cloak. Now, a lot of people kind of laugh when they see additional hand weapon. Yeah, I get that it's kind of a throwback to 6th or 7th edition. However, I don't usually pop my Potion of Strength in my turn. I usually set him up where he's probably going to get charged, and he can pop his potion on the stand and shoot, and then he has 5 attacks at strength 7, usually rerolling the hit in close combat. Um, when I was playing a Swedish comp game that I'm hoping to do a battle report for too, I lined him up to redirect a Soul Grinder. Um, you know, he took 2 wounds off in the stand and shoot, and then did 3 wounds of close combat. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so a little bit good rolling, but I think that he's a strong choice here, um, given the theme of the army. And finally, I have the Lore Master of Hoeth, Book of Hoeth, Gem of the Sunfire, Golden Crown. I didn't use my points on the Lore Master well, I don't think. I think the Lore Master of the book is probably a really good power choice here in this kind of a list because I wanted really offensive and augmenting magic. So I think that the Lore Master is the way to go. I probably want to take a level 4, just because they don't cover the bases as well as the Lore Master does. The book makes him pretty tough on the dispelling front. Gem of Sunfire is a good choice too because it means like when I pop it, I'm wounding dragons with Searing Doom on a 2 up, or Shem's Burning Gaze is getting better too. Like I can wound a Star Dragon with Shem's Burning Gaze on a 4 up, or Plague Drones of Nurgle on a 2 up. The Golden Crown was I had kind of 10 points. I had 35 points left over at the end of this list, and I got home from work late, and this is a game on Universal Battle against a friend in California, and I just didn't use those last 35 points well. So I'm probably gonna make some changes here to the list coming up, but for now this is what you kind of see. My hero choice, I have one hero. He is my battle standard bearer. He has a heavy armor shield in the Banner of the World Dragon. I kind of feel dirty for taking it again, but you know what? It's ETC. You're kind of supposed to put your best foot forward. Um, he stands there and looks really pretty, waving his banner and keeping the Lore Master and the unit safe from blowing up. For my core, I kind of went with a little bit of an MSU core. I have 5 Illyrian Reavers with a Musician, and I did that again for 2 units. Now, here's what I mean that I wasn't paying attention with the mounted Banner of the World Dragon. I should really be putting bows on my Illyrian Reavers. Um, or those musicians should have turned themselves back into archers just for more shots and to keep steadfast in case the unit does get charged. It's kind of silly that I wasn't reading it, and I'm pretty sure that comp's going to change. But for now, the Reavers just had a musician. I had 2 units of 5 Silverhelms with shields and standards. Um, they're great for blood and glory scenarios, which the ETC is probably going to pick up this year, or moving fortitude objectives. Um, and they're also just heavy chaff, and they do well on the charge, just to clear things like solo chariots, yeah, beasts, whatever. And then I had 14 archers with full command as a bunker for my lore master and my BSB. For my special, it's kind of a weird special selection. I have 9 Shadow Warriors with a Shadow Walker, 9 Shadow Warriors with a Shadow Walker. Again, those Shadow Walkers were part of that. I have 35 points left over. What could I possibly spend them on? Um, they're not going to stay in the list probably. I think that was a. I don't think they're really worth it with 2 attacks. Yeah, they can kind of challenge, but if my Shadow Warriors are getting caught in combat that I don't want them to be in, then I've done something really wrong anyway, and that's just silly of me. Then this is kind of a cool choice, I think. It's the 7 Dragon Princes. They have full command and they have the Razor Standard. Now, in the fluff, which I'm pretty into, the high elf fluff. There's the Raven Knights of Nagarath, and they're supposed to be elite high elf heavy cavalry that still exist. They only fight, in rare circumstances. So this is kind of a unit to represent that. But they also is 7 Dragon Princes on the charge with the Razor Standard and with the buff like Wizzens will kill 3 Demigryphs on average. 3 Demigryphs on average on the charge, which is awesome. That's just stellar with the minus 40 your armor. Um, I think they're a really good choice there. They're kind of my backup in a pinch unit, but they're also going to draw a lot of shooting away from my Shadow Warriors and my archers, I think. Also magic, except for Searing Doom. They're safe from it with the dragon armor. And my rare is really boring. 4 bolt throwers. Um, I'm I don't even know what to say really. The four bolt throwers are there to zone control, shoot chaff, lob bolts at big stuff that they don't have better targets. Um, yeah, it's kind of boring. I'm not stoked on how static they are, but there's nothing else in the High Elf book that could perform like they do. And my moving elements are going to be with the Shadow Warriors and the characters anyway. Um, I think that having the 2 units of Shadow Warriors, I can divide Alethanar and the Prince if I need to. I can't combine them if I think it's better, but I honestly don't think it's ever going to be better to combine them. I think having the 2 units to zone out vanguards, and then also just to divide up their higher powered shots in case a target goes down to one of them. So my total's 2395. You can see I still didn't spend those annoying 35 points. Um, but like I said, there's going to be some tweaks coming down the pipe here soon anyway to the list, and those 35 points will probably be helpful somewhere. So here's the Daemons of Chaos list. Now, I don't have an exact copy. I had an exact copy, but he changed it right before a game because he realized that he could get the 2 Herald of Nurgles on Palanquins just to make for one super awesome Plaguebearer unit, and I can't blame him for that. But unfortunately, I just don't have the exact list now. This is kind of going off of what I was hearing through the game. Keeper's Secrets. I know he had a greater and 2 lesser rewards, and he was a level 4 Lore of Shadow. The BSB was on a Palanquin with a greater reward and a regen. The Herald of Nurgle was also on the Palanquin with greater. The Herald of Tzeentch was on level 2 Lore of Metal. The Keeper's obviously there to run around. I think he actually got a 2-up ward save. Or 2-up armor save. Yeah, he got a 2-up armor save with his greater, and then he had the Lash and Always Strikes First sword. Just to kind of have a nasty combo for when he needed what. because I think he rolled really poorly on his lesser rewards too. So yeah, let's move on to his other selections. Just to point out that the Herald of Zinch is on the lower metal. I think I already said that, but that's there just to start lobbing spells at Silver Helms, and also and it's an all-comers list. He wasn't tailoring it to mine. So for the rest of my opponent's army list, he had 31 Plague Bearers with full command, swiftness, 11 Horrors with the Banner, Champ, Gleaming Pennant, 3 Screamers, Zinch, 4 Plague Drones Poison, 4 Plague Drones, and then the Skull Cannon. So I think this is actually a pretty strong list, especially in the ETC comp. I haven't taken a hard look at the Demons comp, but he's got the Keeper, he's got 2 units of drones, the Cannon, and then the Herald of Zinch to kind of be his big point grabbers with metal, just if he's playing somebody heavily armored. The Screamers there just to be a threat early in the game. If they get points, great. If not, they're going to draw shooting away from everybody else. And then he's got the Plague Bearers with 2 Heralds of Nurgle and Palanquin. I think that's a really strong choice just because it's a huge point denial unit. And you'll see that I'm not even going to touch this unit in close combat. And really in my shooting throughout the game, just because it's so many Plague Bearers. And then with the Herald of Nurgle having the regen, just whew, makes a really nasty combination. It's definitely a different take on the Plague Wall, just ETC comping the Beasts of Nurgle so hard, but the drones I think make up for it. Okay, so on to the game then. Going over my deployment. Actually, first let's talk about the map. So you've got 2 opposing hills, a marsh there, and then we're playing that thing in the center of the board as ruins, dangerous terrain. I think we said soft, maybe hardcover, woods, and then a wall. So starting from my left, in my deployment zone, I have Reavers. I have 2 bolt throwers on the hill, 7 Dragon Princes, archers next to the hill with the Lore Master and the BSB, 2 bolt throwers on my back line, Silver Helms, Reavers, Silver Helms. And then I have my Shadow Warriors on my far left flank. Alethanar is in the unit on the far left, with the Prince being in the unit right next to him. So just to talk about my deployment, the Helms kind of got out of place. I guess it worked in a sense that I kind of start with Reavers left, Reavers right, and then I drop the Helms kind of around. Um, it, it 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 served a purpose that the drones got split, where I wasn't having to deal with 2 drones on one flank. And the keeper actually went down there, but I don't think I think the keeper went down well later. Um, but you'll see as the game goes on, they really didn't do anything the whole game, the Silver Helms. But that's okay. They're there just to kind of hang out anyway. I thought they're really good to charge in and kill some um, horrors. That's about it. Um, but otherwise, I think I deployed pretty well. Like I said, I was really happy to get the drones split up there, so I could deal with one and then the other. Since they can't march, it's really helpful. So my opponent on my left flank, his right flank, dropped Screamers, Drones, Skull Cannon, 31 Plague Bearers with 2 Palanquins, 10 Horrors with the Herald of Zinch, and then 4 more Drones with Poison, and then the Keeper of Secrets on the extreme right flank. I don't think he deployed badly, but I definitely would have not divided up my drone units. I probably would have kept them together. But again, it happens. So that was super helpful for me. And then even though the Demons of Chaos got +1, I went first. Here is the end of High Elf turn 1. So my movement phase, I swift reformed the Dragon Princes and slid them down the hill through the gap to give the Reavers clear lines. The Archers slid up just enough to put the drones within 24 for my Lore Master. The Reavers with Vanguard shuffled all the way down to the bottom of the map there, and then the Helms just sidestepped 5 inches. The Shadow Warriors kind of held their spot, which was dumb. I really should have. I thought, like, I just eyeballed it. Thought, oh yeah, Lethanar's probably is in the flank of those drones. But he wasn't, and he would have been with an extra 3 inches of movement and a good wheel, or a reform. But oh well. So Magic, I roll up a 1 and 2 on the Winds of Magic. It's kind of been a theme for me lately. So I just do a mini shems at the screamers of Zinch, and I kill one and do another wound to another. Um, I then am kind of excited about my shooting phase. Um, Alethanar and company shoot the plague drones and deal one wound. He hits, he wounds. He failed his ward save, and I rolled a 1 on the D3, which, okay, well, it's a start. And then my prince and his unit shot off the screamers, so that unit was dealt with. And then I unloaded everything at the. I unloaded 2 bolt throwers and the archers at the plague drones, nothing wounded. I then did the 2 bolt throwers on the bottom at the horrors, and I killed 4. So that's a good start there. Or I killed 3, sorry. So that's an okay start to the game. Really was bummed about the magic dice just because the lore master can really do a lot here. Um, but oh well, it happens. So let's move on to Daemons of Chaos turn 1. So here's Daemons of Chaos, the end of turn 1. Um, he moved the drones up into the lake. Just to try and keep everything in his front arc. He was trying to stay away because I think he was worried about my Dragon Princes charging, and my Dragon Princes would, with a little magical support, absolutely destroy that unit. Um, just how only being strength 5 is a real hindrance, I think, to plague drones against heavy cavalry. They're there to kill infantry. The plague bearers marched ahead full speed, wheeling into the ruins. The cannon moved up. The keeper jumped up to take cover from the wall. And then the other drones moved as far as they could. In the magic phase, um, my opponent gets Plague of Rust through. I failed the Dispel on the Dragon Princes, so they're only a 3 up armor. So that actually is really good for him because now I'm kind of like, well, if I do charge the drones, um, it's not a guarantee anymore with only having a 5 up armor compared to a 4 up. Like, that is a pretty big difference. But he then went ahead to my Asthma, um, my Dragon Princes as well for their movement to try and stall the charge. He did boosted miasma to get them all. He on 3 dice irresistible forced, but he rolled a 9, so he and the Herald took a wound. But the Herald passed his ward save. The Keeper did not, so the Keeper took a wound there. Um, I'm a wounded keeper's better than a non-wounded keeper. In the shooting phase, he rolled a 7 for the wins, so the eye was closed or whatever it is, and then Eye of the Storm. I don't know, but the cannon shot the bolt thrower on the hill, blew it up, and I passed on my panic jacks. So here's the end of High Elf turn 2. You can see my helms kind of did some wheeling stuff and rolled right in front, down the back line. I kept the Reavers in place because I really liked their position. They kind of had a lot of options there to redirect. Um, the Let's see here what else on movement. The Prince jumped back on the hill. He chugged his potion of strength, which I don't normally do, but I was actually feeling pretty confident that I'm not really going to need um, him in combat this turn or this game with my movement and his lack of movement. That I could take it now. Alethanar slid way up the flank there on the table edge to get a flank shot. Magic, I rolled poorly again. It was like a 4-2 phase, and I got a channel, so I had like 5 dice. Um, I went ahead and did boosted Shem's Burning Gaze on the Plague Drones with my Gem of Sunfire, so I was wounding on 2s. My opponent rolled pretty well for his ward saves, though. So he had 3 guys left. No, he only had 2 guys left. That's right, he only had 2 guys left. But you can see there's 1 guy there with 1 wound left. So in the shooting phase, Alethanar drops the guy with full wounds, and then puts 2 wounds on the Plague Drone. My Prince then deals 3 wounds to the Skull Cannon, which was awesome. But then my cleanup shooting just couldn't clean it up. Like the Shadow Warriors didn't wound the Skull Cannon. I know it's not supposed to. The Shadow Warriors didn't take that last one off the Plague Drone, which there's a decent shot there. The Bolt Thrower on the hill then went after the Plague Drone, also missed, and then the Bolt Thrower on the hill or on the bottom of the table there went after the Skull Cannon on the hill. and he did like 2 wounds, but my opponent passed his armor and his ward saves. So that was kind of frustrating just because I couldn't clean up those points there. I was more worried about getting the skull cannon and the plague drone because I can clean the plague drone up later. The skull cannon, as you're going to see, can still target bolt throwers and be effective and get points that way. And really, it's not just about getting points; it's about limiting my shooting. My bolt thrower on the bottom right. I thought about going after the keeper, but I really wanted to get that Herald of Zinch. Starting to plink away, so I went ahead and targeted the horrors again and killed 2 more. So that was nice, because if I kill 2 more guys, then I can start allocating hits to the Herald, especially in the magic phase. This is the end of Demons of Chaos turn 2. So movement. Uh, the keeper charged up there, keeping both the bolt thrower and the silver helms in his front arc. Um, oh no, okay. Here's what happened. So he charged the bolt thrower. He needed a 6. He failed. He rolled like a 2. The drones moved up again, full speed. The horrors kind of shuffled. The plague bearers also moved up full speed. The other drone, I know what he was doing, and I kind of agree with it, but he's kind of screwed there with only 1 wound left. So he just stands in front of Alethanar, basically saying, "You have to shoot me, or I will get these points, um, or you have to move away from me." So he's forcing me to do something with the unit, and I like the move. I mean, he's like I said, he doesn't have many other options there. Magic, he gets off Steed of Shadows, which throws the keeper up right there next to the Silver Helms and the Bolt Thrower. So he has everything kind of in his sights there. Um, that's all he gets off for Magic. I was able to stop the rest, and I'm not really worried about Steed of Shadows because it just means the keeper's now in close range. And then shooting, like what I was worried about happened was he targeted the other Bolt Thrower on the hill and killed it. Um, I'm going to miss those extra 6 shots there. So kind of a boring turn for him. Not much happened, but let's move on. So this is Isle 3. As you can see, I kind of readjusted my battle line just a little bit. Um, the Dragon Princess failed to charge into the flank of the Plague Drone. I really wanted them just to get out there, pop him, and then they'd be able to reform better, and I wouldn't have to waste any of my shooting on it, but you know how it goes. So I failed that 6-inch charge, so I mean, I guess all is fair here. And it means unfortunately, my Silver Helms were then left on an island. I redirect the Plague Bearers with the Reavers. I couldn't set up a double fleet here because his drones were just sitting pretty and could easily charge off my double fleet. And then they'd probably end up on the off the table anyway. Or he'd be right in my kitchen, down in my deployment zone if he caught me. So I just went ahead and did the one normal redirect, and yeah, it's 90 points, but I'm feeling pretty good right now on how things are going. Shooting or magic. Magic, I got 11 on the Winds of Magic. So excited. I start off with just a mini shims into the plague drones out there on the flank. Oh no, into the horror, sorry. So I was going to do it. No, sorry. Okay, let's start over. Yeah, I did a mini shims on 2 dice on the horrors, needing a 5, and I rolled snake eyes, and then with my book of Hoeth reroll still rolled a 1, so that failed, which was awesome. Completely draining my souped up magic phase, which was a bummer because I had a lot of spells here to cast. The plague drones were sitting pretty on a you know on an ice shard blizzard or something. I was really hoping to get a 3d6 fireball into the plague bearers and then follow it up with a spirit leech with the regen gone. So, but that's okay. Um, yeah, I'm a little disappointed, but that it happens. The prince then drops the last plague drone. The Alethanar kills the skull cannon. Um, and then my bolt throwers, both targeting the keeper, both whiff. So this keeper is just taking lots of shots. I can't get those 6s, which is usually the downside of taking the greater demon, is they're just so easy to plink wounds off here and there. But it happens. So not a very good turn for me. I was able to clean up those last couple points on the back table with Alethanar and then the prince killing that last drone. But kind kind of frustrated. Like I'm leaving a lot of things out there right now, and I'm hoping that I still have enough dice in me to hold on for the win here. And just to give you a counter, Alethanar is now killed. Two, he's done 6 wounds to the plague drone, so that's 2 plague drones for him, and he took the last one off a skull cannon. So I'm really happy with his performance so far. Okay, so you'll probably notice something's a little off of this picture. This is not Demons of Chaos turn 3. This is the end of High Elf turn 4. Just to give you some background about me, is I'm kind of bad about remembering to take pictures, which is what's kept me from doing battle reports for so long. Um, and I just don't have time to do something like Battle Chronicler. Um, so by this point in the game, I'm usually super into it. If it's a tournament or like a game on Universal Battle, I've probably had a beer or two. So I'm feeling really good. I get immersed into the game and just forget to take pictures. Because these turn 4 and turn 5 kind of get pretty critical. I did pull myself out to manage to take one at the end of File turn 4, but I think I even forgot like Demons of Chaos turn 4. But so in his turn, he charged the redirecting Reavers with the Bears, which was an auto charge, and then the drones tried it. It was a 9. They failed with an 8, which was super frustrating for my opponent. But actually, I think it was actually in his best interest. My archers were sitting there with the banner of the World Dragon, and the drones just don't have the static combat res that the plague bears do. With the banner, I'm hanging out with the 2 aboard save, and I think I'd be 1 Wizzens away from cleaning that unit outright with the Lore Master and the BSB, and then 15 or 14 archer attacks. Um, so that's cool. The Keeper tried a long charge on that bolt thrower down there in the corner. He failed. Again, frustrating for him, and I'm feeling bad for him. But that was like a 20 needed. He's kind of the keeper's just kind of out of options here. He's left on an island, and I'm slowly cleaning him up. So this is the end of High Elf turn 4. Magic, I rolled low again. I put ice shards on the plague drones and did a wound through that, and then wasn't able to get anything else off. The bolt thrower on the bottom left. Oh, for his, and let me just mention that his one's a magic. He rolled a 10 for a 4 port save. So that kind of sucks for me, but it happens. So in the shooting phase, my bolt throwers decide to hit the keeper. They whiff and fail. The archers do 2 or 3 wounds to the horrors. So then my Shadow Warriors and Alethanar line up on the Herald. He can no longer look out Sir away, and Alethanar kills the last 2 horrors, the champion and the standard bearer, and then drops the Herald. So that was a pretty cool shot. Just imagining that in my head with this elf ninja throwing a bolt thrower through 3 demons, one of them being a Herald. So that was nice. And then with the 4 board save, he's kind of able to net the rest of my shooting. Again, I have to redirect with the Reavers on those plague bearers in such a way that he can't catch me. Yep. Okay, so following that vein, here's what happened. I think I forgot to mention in Demons of Chaos turn 3, the Keeper Steed of Shadows to be able to see the bolt thrower on the right. So in his turn 4, the bearers charged the Reavers, killed them, reformed to see Alethanar, who was actually fleeing because the drones. I did another dumb thing where the drones could see just the corner of a Shadow Warrior, so they charged there. I fled with Swift Stride and bounced way far away. But the drones are there now facing Alethanar. The Keeper charged the Bolt Thrower, killed it, ate it, reformed, and then that was that. So my turn 5, Alethanar rallies, the Dragon Princess Swift reform, and get out of the Arc of the Plague Bearers. The magic phase rolls up with me doing 4-4. So my opponent has 4, I have 8. I remember that his keeper got the greater reward that gave him a 2-up armor save, so I throw 6 dice at boosted Searing Doom, and he fails to meet the casting value. So I get that. I do like 7 hits, 6 wounds, and then he no longer had the 4 board save, so the keeper had 1 wound left, and then my prince put an arrow into him, which killed him. And then shooting, the bolt thrower does, with the archers, managed to do 2 more wounds to the plague drone, so there's 1 plague drone dead now. Um, Again, nice, not really helpful at this point. Well, it's helpful at this point in the game, but it's nice. So that's the end of High Elf turn 5. Oh, look, a Demons of Chaos picture. How did I do that? So this is the end of Demons of Chaos turn 5. The Plague Barriers charged Lethanar. I again fled. Um, the drones moved up, or they charged the archers. They also failed. Um, yeah, that was that. Um, no magic, or he rolled like Slanesh, the Dark Prince Thirst, so I was freaking out a little bit, but he failed to roll 6 on anybody, um, and that was that. So I went ahead and just skipped my turn. This is the end of the game. I tried to get some stuff through on his drones and failed. He then tried, just he realized that he's not going to get any points from those archers, so he didn't even try it. In my turn 6, I moved those silver helms into the plague bearers, because it was better than risking a Lethanar, with the general bonus and the shadow warriors to a really, if he rolled a really lucky charge, which he was due for one. Um, so those silver helms, I was actually really lucky here. I lost 4 of them to the heralds on palanquins, um, but I was able to kill the champion, which was just for giggles. But it meant I had 1 guy left, and with Swiss Stride, I outran his Plague Bears, actually preserving those points, with the banner. Adding it up here, I was 1,200 points ahead after it was all said and done. I lost a two, or lost 3 bolt throwers and 2 reavers, for a total of 390 points. Was all I lost this game. And then he lost his keeper, his screamers, his Herald of Zinch, his horrors, 1 plague drone unit, and the skull cannon. So this is a really nice win for me. I still think I could have played better. I left a lot of points here on the table with the plague drones. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would get the bears. That would have been nice if I had some really lucky magic phases in the beginning and was able to, kind of just start lobbing fireballs and boosted shems into the unit, and then maybe pin it in place with the dragon princes and a silver helm charge. But that just wasn't going to happen, with the way the early turns went, with me having to constantly clean up points here. Um, but however, I did play well with preserving my own points. I only lost 390. Now this isn't always going to be the case with the avoidance list, because, this is kind of my dream matchup where he's a small elite army with not really good saves. The keeper took longer than I expected to kill, but it died. The drones fell like I wanted them to. Same with the screamers, and then the horrors were all easy points for me to grab with my shooting and magic superiority. Um, and then the bears were just never gonna get to combat. I probably, if I had been able to get those drones earlier, or at least, get them out of the way, then I probably wouldn't have even lost the reavers, because I could have done some double fleets. Um, yeah, so that's it for this game. A good start for the High Elf Avoidance list. I know it's a unique list. Alethanar really makes this list work, I think, with that extra strength 7 bolt thrower. Just adding it up, he killed 2 plague drones. The Herald of Zinch, he plinked the wound off the skull cannon. He plinked some wounds off the plague drones, I think, down on the right corner. So, I mean, all in all, a really outstanding performance for him. Now, where I'm going to go further, I don't really know. I have 35 points to spend, just kind of in extra stuff. I thought maybe if I did 35 points here and there, maybe drop the Gem of Sunfire. I kind of like it though, as a 1 turn, um, really threatening spell with Searing Doom or Shems, or even Fireball, like a 3d6 Fireball on an elf unit with +1 to wound is nothing to scoff at there. To be wounding on 2s. But I don't know. Go ahead and feel free to leave a comment, below. Tell me if I'm an idiot. I know my opponent. He's a really good friend of mine from California. We'd love to hear your feedback. For his list, I think it's really strong, but I was his worst nightmare for a matchup. It was hard for him to get to me. He's a slow moving army with wounds to grab. I think he'd do really well against, like, block infantry and stuff like that. But and he would be harder to get points from in a normal, kind of a more normal high elf list, I think. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.